Beyond redemption. Sarah Harper was a seasoned probation officer, known for her unwavering dedication and a heart hardened by years of dealing with the worst society had to offer. Every day, she faced criminals seeking redemption, guiding them on their path to reintegration. Yet, nothing could have prepared her for the shock that awaited her on an otherwise unremarkable Monday morning. The day started like any other. Sarah sipped her coffee, reading through the files of her new clients. One name caught her eye: Ethan Caldwell. The file was sparse, containing little more than a name and an address. Intrigued and slightly annoyed by the lack of information, she made a note to visit the address that afternoon. As she drove to the location, a chill settled over the neighborhood. The address led her to an old, abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. The building stood in stark contrast to the surrounding modern homes, its windows dark and lifeless. Sarah checked the address again, certain she had made a mistake, but the numbers matched. Steeling herself, Sarah walked up to the mansion and knocked on the heavy wooden door. To her surprise, it creaked open at her touch. Inside, the air was cold and musty, and a sense of unease settled over her. "Hello, Ethan Caldwell," she called out, her voice echoing through the empty halls. Upstairs, a voice replied, faint and otherworldly. Sarah hesitated, but then made her way up the grand staircase. At the top, she found a door slightly ajar. Pushing it open, she stepped into a room bathed in an ethereal glow. In the center stood a figure, translucent and glowing faintly. It was a man, his features indistinct, but his presence unmistakable. "I'm Ethan Caldwell," the figure said, his voice calm and measured. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. "You're a ghost," she whispered, her mind struggling to comprehend what she was seeing. Ethan nodded. "Yes. I died over 50 years ago. But I need your help, Sarah." Stunned, Sarah listened as Ethan explained his story. In life, he had been a troubled man, involved in crimes that had left a stain on his soul. His untimely death had trapped him in a state of limbo, unable to move on until he atoned for his past sins. He had been seeking redemption for decades, but had found no one willing to help. "I don't know how to help a ghost," Sarah said, her voice trembling. "I'm a probation officer, not an exorcist." Ethan's eyes, though ethereal, conveyed a deep sadness. "All I ask is for a chance to make amends. I need to do something good, something that will set my soul free." Moved by his plea, Sarah agreed to help. Together, they devised a plan. Ethan, though unseen by most, could still interact with the physical world to some extent. Sarah arranged for him to assist in various community services anonymously. Under her guidance, he helped restore an old park, worked on community gardens, and even assisted in local shelters. As the weeks passed, Sarah found herself growing accustomed to Ethan's presence. He was kind, dedicated, and genuinely remorseful for his past. Slowly, his good deeds began to make a difference in the community, and Sarah could see the change in him. He seemed more at peace, less haunted by his past. One evening, as they were finishing up a project at a local shelter, Ethan turned to Sarah. "I can feel it," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I'm ready to move on." "Thank you, Sarah. You've given me a second chance." Sarah felt a lump in her throat as she nodded. "You did the hard work, Ethan. You earned your redemption." With a final, grateful smile, Ethan began to fade. His form shimmered and slowly disappeared, leaving Sarah alone in the dim light of the shelter. Tears filled her eyes as she realized that, despite the impossible circumstances, she had helped a lost soul find peace. Sarah returned to her office the next day, feeling a profound sense of fulfillment. Ethan's file, which had once been nearly empty, was now filled with notes on his journey of redemption. She placed it in a special drawer, a reminder that even in the darkest corners, there was always a chance for light to shine through. And so, Sarah continued her work with renewed purpose, knowing that sometimes the most extraordinary cases could lead to the most remarkable transformations. The end. Hope you enjoyed the story.